Well, hello everyone and welcome to Momentum channel. My name is Mo, and in this video, I want to provide a quick overview of the portfolio that we have. My wife and I, we are investing towards financial independence and retiring early. The portfolio I'm showing you on Blossom app is currently sitting at $618,268. At the end of the day, our portfolio was up by 1.3% today, or roughly about $8,000 in unrealized gain. You can see as well our entire holdings. Majority of our holdings are in shares of 𝗋𝐋𝐈𝐿, which is considered an all-in-one exchange traded fund, providing us global diversification. Through 𝗋𝐿, you getting exposure to stock market in Canada, in the US, as well as international and emerging markets. So really one easy way to invest globally in the stock market. We currently have over 19,000 shares of 𝗋𝐿. And if you look at it in a moment, I'm going to quickly show you what's our overall all-time return. Our shares of 𝗋𝐿 are overall up by 9% plus. Next, we have some shares of VTI. If I click over it, it's Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund ETF. Its share was up by almost 2%. Through VTI, we get exposure to the stock market in the US. It's exposure to the entire US stock market. Our shares are up by close to 15%, and we have 93 shares of it. And lastly, we have 152 shares of Vanguard Total World Stock Index Fund ETF with ticker symbol VT. It's also available similar to VTI in US dollars, and its shares were up by 1.6%. Overall, we have 152 shares of VT, and our shares are up by 11.7%. This portfolio, the way that you see it on Blossom, it's a combination of investments that I have as well as my wife. For my wife's accounts, investments, I've actually manually added them in here based on the number of shares that she has, as well as if I show you real quick, you do see the number of shares that she has, as well as the average purchase price for her. So if you go under your investments, you do see the ones that are connected based on directly with the broker account through Questrade. And then the other one are added manually, shares of 𝗋𝐿, as well as shares of VTI. For those of you who may not be already on Blossom, Blossom is an amazing community of investors in Canada and US. We have over 100,000 individuals and investors. You're going to absolutely love it. I do encourage you to check it out. You can download it for free. If you haven't done so, I ask and encourage you to actually use the referral link that I have in the description of the video. To do so, on Blossom, you get to learn from investors from across the Canada and US about different topics, engage with them, ask questions and get answers to your question, as well as all the amazing posts. Plus, it provides you an amazing package easily to really keep track of your own portfolio, where things are at, set portfolio goals, both in terms of portfolio value as well as portfolio dividend income amounts that you might want to set as a target. You also can compare your portfolio to major indices, S&P 500, Toronto Stock Exchange, and so on and so forth. With the promo premium account actually that is available for Blossom at a very reasonable, decent amount, you get additional bells and whistles. So for example, what is the breakdown of your ETF by different regions? Same goes for your stocks. And what's the asset allocation for your portfolio? Are you mostly in stocks versus ETFs? What is the sector breakdown? So for example, if I click onto it, it just shows you for me, most of my exposure currently is to technology at about 21% and financials at about 18%. And what is the rest of the breakdown? As well as how does that compare compared to the overall Blossom community? So quite neat pieces of data for us to look into. Plus, you can add posts related to your portfolio on different topics, even post polls and get feedback from other community members and whatnot, as well as have your trades automatically actually added as they occur on the app. So if you're interested, for instance, to follow any investors of your choice here on the app, or get to know what stocks they're buying or selling, you can simply follow them, and as their trades happen, it actually would notify you on the app, and you can even follow them by, similar to other social media apps. You can follow them and kind of be on the alert for their contents, as well as you can save some of their favorite contents that matters to you and interests you, as an example there. All right, with that out of the way, why don't we hover over to the dashboard that I've developed on Looker Studio. Similar kind of concept of the entire portfolio, but I did receive quite a bit of questions from investors on my channel on YouTube. They were asking me if I can share what is the file that is powering that dashboard. So I'm gonna share that with you and provide you a little bit of walkthrough, and hopefully that answers some of your questions. I'm happy to answer additional questions that you might have. All right, as you can see on the screen, this is the dashboard that I had developed in Google Looker Studio for free. It's just based on my access to Google account and developing this dashboard based off of a file that it contains the data points powering this dashboard. But it's pretty neat. It's interactive in the sense that, for example, there's cross filtering as I select different types of, for example, parts of the chart. Different parts are filtered in and out based on the build. You do see as well the overall portfolio size, the percentage. I've added a few additional points such as what's the MER for different types of ETFs that I have in our portfolio, average portfolio MER, and so on and so forth. I wanted to quickly show you what is the main data point behind the first page that I showed you for the Looker Studio. It is actually a Google sheet that I've developed, and you can see here on the screen, mainly list out the different holdings that I have. I've separated out between the accounts that I have, my wife has, as well as the Smith Maneuver portfolio that I have, my wife and I jointly, how many shares of each one of those holdings we have, and what's the cost basis, cost per share, and other information. Now, there are some pieces of the data that are automatically pulled from Google Finance. I'm going to show those things to you. So, for example, when we look at the price for each share. So if I hover over it, you do see that there's a formula. Is a Google Finance is trying to read the data from the ticker symbol, and it would automatically populate the price for this ticker, and in this case 𝐋𝐈𝐿. The same goes for 52-week low price, 52-week high price, as well as, let's see, I believe those are the main ones that are being read out from Google Finance. I do believe that as well, this part, the name is also pulled automatically from Google Finance. From there on, there are some calculated fields then that I've added here. So for example, in calculating the cost basis, of course, we're going to be using the number of shares that we have, which I'm manually updating, and I multiply that by the cost per share, which I'm manually updating. As I buy more shares in my, let's say, in this case, Wealthsimple account related to these shares of ETF of 𝗋𝐈𝐿, I'm going to see it has the cost per share change. If it is, I'm going to update it, as well as I'm updating the number of shares that I have. And then the cost basis is calculated automatically. Market value, of course, is the multiplication of the number of shares by the price that is populated from Google Finance. The profit, it's a simple, mathematical formula, and the return percentage as well. It's very simply calculated according to that. And the weight as well, similarly, is calculated there for us. At the bottom, I've kind of grouped them together because, as you did see, I have shares of 𝗋𝐈𝐿 here, here, and here, because they are in different accounts, myself, my wife, and the Smith Maneuver. We've combined them here, so I added a little bit of a formula, adding them accordingly. Also added some formula to calculate the weighted average for the portfolio here at the bottom. So I've added the average weighted and then calculated accordingly based on the formula to know what is the weighted average MER for our entire portfolio. And this is where things are at. I did have some portions for cash. So for example, if there's any leftover cash in any of our accounts, I was manually updating and adding it. Right now it's 0, but if there's anything, I just added in here simply manually by myself. And there's also another section here that talks about the net deposit. So this looks into account across different brokerage accounts, how much net deposit we've put into our accounts. We take that number. We also know that what is the portfolio size, and then based on that, we do calculate what is the current overall return for the portfolio based on current value minus the net deposit that we put in. So as an example here for our portfolio, our overall return assuming based on how much we put in, is showing a gain of 18.1%, or a total gain of $94,802. Some of it is actually realized gain, some of it is unrealized gain, because the portfolio is also showing a positive unrealized value of $53,530 at this time. Well, I hope that answers the question that many of you had about this dashboard and what is the file behind the scene that's powering it. If you're interested to still, after having seen this file, to get a copy of it, maybe I can make a copy of it with some kind of standalone spots, but removing some of the references specifically to my numbers. At least that way you can start it as a kind of a initial file and play with it and make it your own. Let me know if that's something that interests you, and I'm happy to then add the file to the video description after the fact if I hear some of those requests in the comment section of the video. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all next time.